America's Diesel Podcast.
Brought to you by Diesel Power Products.
America's Diesel Superstore.
No salesman,
Just enthusiasts.
DieselPowerProducts.com.
Your number one source for all things diesel.
See, what happens is piss comes out of your dick.
And immediately just gets injected into the exhaust. You guys don't know it yet, but that was the start of the episode. That's exactly how
that's
I
not how
wanted
we
this
should
one to go. But what I really wanted to start off with, and yes, we are keeping that in the episode. That is exactly how I want this thing to go.
My bosses, that actually, I didn't know that we were starting, but that's okay.
Too late now. We've talked
late.
about worse. I was going to open it up with, I woke up from a text message between me and my dad and my brother, and my dad doesn't really share too many memes or whatnot. Every once in a while, it's like a car video. And obviously he's behind on the times because A, he's kind of old, and B, he's not really part of the diesel culture. But he sends me the Facebook one that says, "Why doesn't Facebook accept videos over 26 seconds? Thanks." And the answer, to prevent Ford owners from posting their quarter-mile race times or race videos. Yeah. Sent that to me and my brother, and I was like,
You're a dick.
I responded with, can confirm.
Can confirm.
And then I immediately posted the video. I mean, obviously this episode's going to come out later, but I'm sure we've all seen it now because you guys have tagged me in it 50,000 times. The John Travolta one when when he's practicing his dancing in the short shorts, and it's like, when you see other Ford guys at truck meets or something like that, and he's like pelvic thrusting.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's accurate.
Yeah,
that is fully
That's
accurate.
actually how I dance.
That's how I dance normally.
Yeah.
But you introduced the fact that I've got other Ford bros where I am.
Oh, dude, you guys are just hip thrusting on each other, probably.
Dude, no inseams to be found, my friends.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, DieselPowerProducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
All right, let's get this episode underway. This is Ben and Tyler from America's Diesel Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. You can find us on all the normal podcast mediums. That's Facebook. Screwed that one up. Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere there's a podcast. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. It's one of the best places to leave comments. We get a discussion going with people like Chris. His handle is Dad Cooks Food. Came by today. I got to see his tow rig and what he's got going on. And
yeah, he hooked me up with some. He has an Aisin transmission in his. What is it? Is that 20 or 2020? 21?
He's got 21 now.
21?
Had an 18.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of 68 RFE fluid and filters,
mm-hmm.
and he gave them to me.
Yeah, that was rad.
That was rad. It was super nice.
Yeah, we love our listeners. You guys are bitching. But you can definitely find us on there answering comments and getting the discussion going. There's also usually a dissertation written by our not employed on the payroll Jim Lawrence, which I finally figured out what your Instagram name means. I sat there when I was pooping and just looked at it and read it over and over and over and over and over again.
Of course you would.
I know, but it's in typical Jim Lawrence fashion. It's good. He's one of those guys. Jim Lawrence is an enigma wrapped, an enigma wrapped in
a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
Yeah, right. He wants to make you think.
Yeah. Real quick, Ben, you're Corey, you remember Boys Weekend when we were waiting for Ben after he was taking a poop at the casino?
Yeah.
We were seriously outside for 45 minutes.
You were not outside
Dude,
for 45
yes,
minutes.
It was a good amount of time.
Like, what are you doing in there?
Wait, why weren't you in the casino?
Because I ran out of money.
I had my. Wait, I didn't have my phone. I was gonna say you should.
You had to have.
No, I didn't. I left it in the trailer.
No, he
have a
didn't.
phone.
He didn't because
it was
remember
dead.
he was talking about how he cleaned out his wallet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
'cause you
went
were
through my
borrowed-
wallet,
yeah.
cleaned all of it,
Yeah.
read all the cards I had in there. But anyways, we're getting off topic here. Sorry.
Well, it's
if you heard that third voice, by the way, that's Corey. He's the one of our sales techs and also handles all the production stuff for the podcast. He's got a microphone now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you look stuff up if I tell you to look something up? Like, is that a possibility? Like on that laptop? Like, could you just minimize that shit? And
I could. I'd prefer not to.
Yeah.
I got this guy though.
I don't
Okay.
want to stress out the laptop anymore. That needs to be done because if we
why would it stress it out?
well, just searching stuff, you never know. Because if the laptop
It's
messes up,
brand new.
then whatever we're talking could get lost. And I know how much we hate re-recording episodes because I hate it. I hate it. Anyways,
suppose.
Jim, I'm going to talk about your Instagram name in just a minute here. But yep, Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, you guys, all that kind of stuff. Tyler, reviews, go.
Oh yeah, let's keep those reviews coming in. We are moving up and moving up. That's good.
Oh yeah. You guys are nailing it.
Yeah, we're
today.
nailing it today. Did we do a podcast last week? We didn't, did we?
No.
Yeah, you
we're
did.
kind of.
Oh, we
did
had one.
You did. I wasn't in here.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I have no excuses then. But keep those reviews coming in. Review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. 5-star reviews only. That's how it works. You can't. It won't even physically let you do a 2, 3, or a 4-star. It's just 5. For some reason. Must be a setting. I don't know. Anyways, we're not changing it. So 5-star review on any of those platforms. Screenshot that review. Send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure to include a picture of your truck or the truck that you want.
Boom.
Or your dad's truck or your mom's truck or she's truck.
They's truck.
They's truck.
Yeah.
That's not a thing. Screenshot that. Send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Include that. Good stuff. And your address so we can send you a sticker. It looks just like our logo right behind me here. Soon to be on some badass hats.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Lastly, let's get a couple more things out of the way here. If you do not follow us on the social medias, I highly recommend you do, especially Instagram. That is, we are really trying to pump up our numbers there. If you do want to have a beer with the boys every Wednesday, in between our filming sessions, we do hop on Instagram Live, have a beer with the boys, usually right around 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's a great time to ask some questions, talk a little shit, have some good fun, we talk about trucks, memes, music, shoes, farming. I don't give a shit. We talk whatever we want. But that's the best time to just hang out and have a beer with the boys. So again, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram. You can find us on there by searching, you'd guessed it, America's Diesel Podcast. I promise we will get to the episode. I have one last thing. If you are buying parts for your diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. We do have sales text on the phone 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. They'll answer any sort of question you have on your truck and get you the right part the first time. If you are talking to them and you're ordering parts and you're listening to this, that means you're a podcast listener. That's right. You've achieved that status in your life.
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing. But what it means to us is that people that listen to the podcast are buying parts on the website. So make sure you let them know that you are a podcast listener so we can mark down and make sure that we can attribute those sales to the podcast. Again, you receive absolutely nothing. It's not a discount code. It's purely just to help us out. And that's how we know we keep it organic, because honestly, we give you nothing. So you have no incentive to actually help us aside from wanting to help us, which is catch-22, because if you want to help us, you can help us, and you can whatever. Lastly, if you are listening to this and you're buying your diesel parts from someone else, I want to know why the hell you are and why you're not shopping with Diesel Power Products. Good, bad, happy, or sad. If it's because we don't have something, it's because you shopped with us one time and for some reason something went wrong. Maybe you didn't tell us what happened, or I don't know. Seriously, I want to know. I'm an open book. Let me know what's going on. I have experience on the sales side, the customer service side, shipping side, all that kind of good stuff. DM me, email me, whatever you need to do, ben@dieselpowerproducts.com, or on Instagram. If you don't have my handle, you can just Instagram or DM the Instagram podcast page. And I want to know, seriously. That's the good info that we need. So let's get this episode started.
First things first, what about you, Jim Lawrence's?
Oh, yeah, Jim Lawrence. So
come on now.
His name, it looks just like a whole bunch of letters, right? I'm going to say these letters. Noewonyewno.
No one you know?
No one you know.
Except for we know who you are now.
Now we
So
know,
now we
Jim.
know.
I don't know if you specifically told me to make that connection or not, but I did, and now it's live.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Jim Lawrence. Sounds like we may be seeing get a referral request from No One You Know 2 soon.
No one
Maybe,
you
I don't know. But yeah, this for some reason I never made that connection. I just happened to sit there. I was like, Jim's a cryptic, like not cryptic, like, but like he likes to encrypt things. He likes to,
Yeah.
likes to be on the.
It's like a puzzle guy.
A puzzle guy. And I'm like, I guarantee you these aren't just random letters. Jim Lawrence wouldn't put these random letters out there.
No.
I'm just gonna look at it. And I'm sitting there like, no one you know.
No one you know.
No one you know. Jim, you sly dog. But I got you. I got you. I'm a little bit more excited about that than I should have been.
You are.
All right. So the whole reason you tuned in is
I'm
because
like so much lower than you are.
Well, then raise your chair
No,
up, dude.
get it down to my level.
No, I like right
Get
here.
comfortable.
I am comfortable.
You look rigid and stiff.
I like the fact that my elbow just rests on the table. I don't have to have it lift up. Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm right there. I'm in the zone. Not a sponsor, but we'll take it if you're giving it.
Okay, so
Let's talk about deaf, baby.
Yeah.
Let's talk about pee in your deaf tank.
deaf.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously a lot of people hate exhaust fluid.
Yep.
And I could see where a lot of these people are coming from because, like, when it was first introduced in trucks, the whole system was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Like it, but I mean, things have gone a long way. And I'm just going to kind of give you my personal experience and a little bit of knowledge that I looked up on the old Googs machine. Like on newer trucks. So I have as many of you know, I have a 20.
I got to time out real quick.
Jesus
I know you were just about to get started. Let's explain DEF real quick for those that don't know.
DEF stands for diesel exhaust fluid.
Right.
Okay. People call it urea. Okay. It's not just urea. It's actually a mixture of, it's like 32% urea, and the rest of it is what's called deionized water.
Whoa.
That's it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I knew it was like mixed with something water. I couldn't remember the phrasing for it.
As far as trucks that have this, just a quick rendition of emissions. Basically, the DPF and EGR came factory on every truck, just about 07.5 if you're a GM or a Ram, or 2008 if you're a Ford. And then as far as the addition of diesel exhaust fluid, that is the 6.7 power strokes, so 11 to current, the LMLs, 11 to current, and the
13 and up.
13 and up Ram trucks, so 13 to current. So there was 07.5 to 12 Ram trucks did not have diesel exhaust fluid, but they did have an EGR and a DPF.
Yes.
Okay.
What was I saying?
You're talking.
So yeah, it's a mixture of urea, which is not just piss. Okay, for people out there, don't go pissing in your tank. Okay, it's not the same thing, but it's a mixture of urea and deionized water. One thing one thing that I came across today, if you have like not urea. Now, see, I'm going to say it all. If you have DEF that has been sitting around like past its expiration, because there is an expiration date on it.
Is it a long shelf life?
It's about 2 years.
Okay, all right.
So, but I saw a little write up on it that because it's a non-toxic chemical formula. Okay, well, I mean, don't drink it, obviously, but it's not going to burn your skin or something like that. It's a pretty mellow sort of fluid, right? But if you have like old stuff, they say you can mix it with like water 10-1 and actually just put it on your yard and put it on your plants. It's like fertilizers. I don't know. I've never done it. I'm not going to do it because my grass is already growing way quicker than I need it to grow. But anyways, DEF, exhaust fluid. So as many of you may already know, I have a 2021 Ram. Okay. I only fill up the urea when it's, I keep on saying urea. I need to stop saying that. I only fill up the DEF when it's like almost tells me to fill it up. Okay. Just because I want that stuff circulating through, I want fresh stuff every time. I personally only get it from a truck stop for a couple reasons. One, they go through it because all the semi trucks use it. So they're cycling through it pretty quick.
Constantly
And two,
going through it,
it's stored much better than the shit that's in the boxes that's just at the auto parts store. And I'm going to give you one quick story. When I first got my truck, okay, this is the first time I was putting DEF in it. Very first time. And it was for my friend's birthday. We were going camping on the in Idaho. Anyways, I'm not going to get specific on that. Anyways, so we're taking off.
Northern Idaho.
Northern Idaho. Okay. We take off, and I just about get out of Spokane, kind of getting into Spokane Valley, and truck has issues. Okay. I had a check engine light. I had actually a couple of codes. I had one for the transmission, which I don't, still to this day, they don't know what exactly caused it. It was like maybe just a kind of a fluke thing. But the other code that I had was for the DEF system. And I started thinking, I was like, wow, I went to the auto parts store and I got some of the premium DEF, the platinum or whatever they call it, the peak platinum. And my issue literally started, like I got that like a day before we left and put it in there. And then I had these codes. From then on, I only have gone to the truck stop. And I know this is like not much of a, test.
Right.
So, but, because things happen. Who knows? It could have happened if I got this stuff from the truck stop. But I've only got it from the truck stop here on out. Because DEF has, if it's stored anywhere that is over like 86 degrees, it can like break down and not work properly. Or, and then it starts to create like a slush mix. That's why people say like, oh, my DEF tank froze up.
Yeah.
Guess what the temperature is? It starts to kind of slush up.
30.
12 degrees.
Oh. So it's got to get cold.
Yeah. But it gets cold here. Like there's a good chance that mine was like kind of slushed up in there because we had some really cold days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it needs to be stored at a good middle temp, which
and that's why there's DEF heaters.
And that's why there's DEF heaters. Which if it even slushes up in your tank, it's usually fine because the heater will take care of it. Whether it's the tank itself is heating or it's as it's heating as it's getting pulled into the system. But it's The systems have gotten so much more efficient nowadays. So like my truck, I actually was thinking about this today because I'm about half tank on my DEF right now. I should actually see how many miles I go on a tank the next time I fill it.
It doesn't calculate that for you?
No.
Oh, I figured on that.
No, it'll calculate obviously like fuel tank.
Fuel. Yeah.
Mileage still empty, but
Are
not
you
DEF.
sure?
I mean, unless it's in there, I've never seen it.
I
Like
feel
DEF
like
tank miles till empty, because I don't know if it can actually calculate that because it doesn't know when it's going to go into regen, because it has to meet a certain criteria for it to go into regen. And if you're like always on the highway or something, I guess
I
that
wonder
would
if maybe
depend.
it might just give you like DEF used lifetime or something like that, and you can like divide that by miles. I don't know. I feel like it has to like. I don't know.
Well, anyway, I started thinking of like when the last time I filled up with my DEF, and I want to say I think I fill up about once a month, which isn't bad, guys. It's $17 at a truck stop. Like I was actually astonished that hadn't gone up in price like everything else has.
Well, I mean, they're saying that's going to start going up in price now too.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
but it's a 5-gallon tank,
Yeah.
and I can go a month, and I drive that truck every day. I drive probably
You're out of
too
town
much
every weekend.
I'm out of town every weekend. Like
Usually
I put that-
towing. Yeah.
Right.
You're burning fuel.
I'm burning fuel.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good. Like I can't really complain. Like if I'm complaining about that, but not complaining about fuel prices, like I feel like that's I'm an idiot because that's it. Just $17 really. I can spend that in one night at coming home from the gas station grabbing beer, like
Exactly.
whatever. So that's why I kind of think it's funny when people complain about like DEF. It's like it's not that bad. Yeah. If you go to the auto parts store and buy 2 boxes of the stuff that's on the shelf, it's like $40. Just go to a truck stop. All the truck stop, any place that says bulk DPF, and they usually will display it like we have bulk DPF. Get it there. It's better. It is. It just has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
And the idea behind that is you may be thinking to yourself, oh, truck stops, they're dirty. They don't do stuff. Here's the thing. Truckers talk. Okay. The truckers have internet. If there is a diesel station or a truck stop that is starting to put out shit fuel,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're not going to see trucks there.
Yeah.
So if you go to a truck stop that maybe let's say you're there like in the middle of the night or during like downtime. I know truckers are pretty much going all the time. But like let's say you just constantly see a truck stop that's empty. You can kind of assume that maybe something might be going on there.
Yeah.
But if you're going to a truck stop that maybe you go when it's slow, but you drive by all the time in the morning, in the evening or something like that, and it's always packed, you can be pretty assured that, again, truckers talk. Trucks are not cheap. Fuel components, not cheap.
Yeah.
You know, that they're doing something right.
Yeah. So it's not, again, especially on newer trucks, like I said in the beginning of this, when they first introduced DEF into, these emissions controlled trucks, I would 100% agree with you. It was a junk system. They're nowhere near running at the efficiency level as like newer trucks are, 100%. And I think it's a combination of the entire emission system that they've refined over the years.
It's all gotten better.
All of it's gotten better. Yeah.
I mean, just like me and Chris were even talking about that today, like the plateau with gas engines and how, and everybody gives diesels a bad rap or something like that, or like, oh, this is emissions crap, and, we're getting choked down by the EPA. It's like, you got to remember, guys, there were like 350, 400 horsepower, gas cars rolling around. The 80s came around and they were regulated down to like 150, trying to go with these regulations going on.
Yeah.
And they're back. 40 years later, they're back. 700-800 horsepower cars, factory with a warranty, drive it off the lot, passes emissions. I know that's 40 years, but keep in mind here, guys, if you're going about as far as horsepower is concerned, as the year productions have gone on, diesels have never gone down in horsepower.
Right.
There was never a dip in the horsepower.
No, they've always gone up.
The dip where you might see is, I'd say a little bit of reliability, just because it's a new system.
Yeah.
Just like if you look at any cars from like the late 80s, early 90s, they always seem to have these little ticky-tack error issues with stuff. Still getting used to it, still trying to learn everything. Things got better.
Yeah.
So the reliability part of it, and then of course the mileage.
Yeah.
The mileage, yes, we all get it. Your 5.9 Cummins was getting 28 miles a gallon. Blah 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 blah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. But and we will fully sympathize with you and agree with you. Those, the first generation of emissions intact trucks, especially pre-DEF stuff. Yeah, unless you were basically a hot shotter, you were getting shit mileage.
Yeah.
I can fully see why people, elected to delete their trucks at that point. But as the systems have gotten better, we're over 10 years into it. They have gotten a lot better. You're still making great power, and the efficiency, I'd say it's almost back to where it would have been.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
You're at least you're in the ballpark, because I felt so bad for guys when they would call in and be like, dude, my 5.9 like towing. And they would give realistic numbers. Like, realistically, my 5.9, when I was towing this same trailer, the same way I've always been doing it, I was getting around, 13, 14, and unloaded. I was high teens all the time. Now, I can be, trying to hypermile this thing, like overinflate my tires, baby the throttle, on the freeway doing 65, and I'm getting 9.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, I can see how that's frustrating, but you're the same guy that would, if you got a Mustang 2 and think you're getting something where it's going to run a 10-second quarter mile.
Yeah. yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So DEF, again, like we were talking about, it's 32.5, I think it's 32.5% urea, and the rest of it is deionized water. So let's break that down. What is deionized water? No, it is not the same as distilled water. Okay. Distilled water is like boiling a pot of water that you get out of the tap, and the solids that have dissolved into the water are then removed when you boil it, right? So deionized is, you might know more than I do on this, okay? But it's basically going down to like the molecular level of the water, and they like charge it through. Corey, if you want to look it up, deionized water, but they like run it through I don't want to say like electrolysis process, but like there's electricity involved.
Yeah.
Okay. With it. Wow. You just buy a whole crate of it, huh?
They're rearranging. Yeah.
Form of pure, clean water purified by removing atoms and ions and molecules from tap water through an ion exchange process. Sounds intense.
Removes dissolved particles such as salt, minerals, carbon dioxide, organic contaminants, and other impurities in water.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it would probably remove all that, the same as distilled. Yeah, so distilled water is not the same as deionized water. Distilled water has been boiled to create purified water free of contaminants and impurities like chlorine and dissolved solids. Okay. That's close. Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that's what it's made of. I always figured there was just like more stuff in there.
And so I've got this that I printed out from the American Chemical Society. This is basically how like urea was found, which was in 1828, apparently. Stuff's been around. But the thing that the thing that I thought was like kind of weird. It's not used just for diesel trucks. Like urea is used in, let's see here. Where is it at? No, I can't find it. It was like used in like facial stuff. Like so you're just basically kind of like people be like, oh, you're putting piss on your face.
Piss face.
Piss face. Where is it?
Let's see. Used to treat dry, rough skin conditions such as eczema, psoriasis, corns, cause, and some nail problems in your nails. May also be used to help remove dead tissue from in some wounds to help wound healing.
I wonder why
Urea is known as a
wow, something just clicked in my brain.
keratolactic.
Something just clicked in my brain. You know when they say when you get like bit by a snake or something
on
like
it?
you piss on it.
Yeah, or
Or
jellyfish.
jellyfish, yeah.
Or jellyfish, yeah, you piss on it. Yeah, it's jellyfish, not snake. Don't just piss on it.
I mean,
I got bit by a rattlesnake. Someone piss on me.
I mean, if it was like, hey man, we need to wash this thing out. We've got this muddy water or
piss.
Or piss. Like,
Yeah.
You know what, man? Give me the piss.
Oh, and it's used. Have you seen those instant cold packs where you like break it and it like gets cold for a little bit?
Yeah.
Half of that's urea.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. There's a lot of gobbledygook in here. I'm not even going to attempt to read because it's kind of stupid. But anyways, yeah, urea is like produced in in the kidneys? Yeah, from like dissolved like proteins and shit like that. Here we go. This is so awesome.
Dude.
This is the best.
So just so you guys know, like, so Corey's on the mic now, but now we've also got
the liver, not the freaking kidneys, the liver.
Well, yeah, the kidneys are the filter,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like trucks. But now we've got Corey able to project basically whatever he's searching on the screen here. So it's like we're a real podcast now.
Ah, this is epic. Cool.
Yeah, and let's get like 60 screens in here. There's everything going on.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, that's kind of the basics of urea. Now DEF. Golly. So what are some might ask like what are the ways that you can what are things you can do to your truck to minimize DEF usage? Mm-hmm. Well, you have to minimize the truck actually going through regen because that's when it's predominantly using it, right? So those short drives, to the gas station or wherever, those quick drives, stuff like that, not letting the truck fully regen, which on newer trucks, and I there's a caveat to the older truck stuff. I know this is they were a lot more inefficient when it comes to cleaning the filter. So like if you're driving down the freeway on like a 2014 truck or a 2013 truck that just had first year of DEF, it takes a lot longer for it to clean the filters out, right? My truck, I can tell when it's in regen because you can hear it and you can smell it.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting at a stoplight, if you ever notice your RPM's kind of going, brrr, I mean, it's trying to regen, and it's using EGR, everything's cycling. But I left here, and I parked knowing it was starting to go into regen, and so when I can hear it and I can smell it and I can tell it's doing that, I will flip through my gauges and look at my because my screen will say like DPF clean in process. My DPF can be 100% clean from when I hop on the freeway at Francis and get to my house. Before I get to my house, it'll be completely clean.
Wow.
Which is pretty damn good.
That's short. Just so you guys know, that's like 7 minutes on the freeway.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's really not bad. So making sure that I go back to like old school guys who are like in touch with their vehicle, that they know like when they're driving it, there's something going on. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of be the same with your diesel truck. Like me, I can hear, I can smell, I use my senses, I know, and I can flip to the screen and tell if it's going through regen. But when I know it is, I make sure before I park that truck that it's completely cleaned. And that's just a kind of a habit that I've formed. for myself on something like that. And I think it's a good habit if you want longevity out of the entire system, and to not use a ton of exhaust fluid. So just keep that in mind. If you're driving, your truck's doing weird little things, like it's probably in regen. Hop on the freeway, drive it for 10 minutes. It'll probably be clean by the time you're done, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's those stopping in the middle of it, parking it, starting it again, going a short trip, parking it. It's not able to kind of catch up. And going on the freeway is like before. I want to say on like the earlier trucks, even before DEF was introduced, like you had to go on the freeway for it to clean.
Yeah.
Like that there was no other option. There was like a speed. Yeah, there was like a speed thing that had to, a speed criteria had to meet, and then you had to do that for a while.
And those are the ones that you saw where like the flames were shooting out the exhaust.
The 6.4. I remember in those videos, dude. I was in school and that video came out. Yeah. Full disclosure, I believe there was something actually wrong with that truck.
Yes.
Like they should not be doing that.
But I remember seeing and hearing people that would, like, if you go to a dealership, and again, the dealerships were new to the emission systems too. They're still trying to figure them out, and they're just going on what GM was telling them, what Ram was telling them. They're like, well, you need to go through a forced regen. Well, I don't want to drive it for the next 45 minutes. Cool. Well, just go in the parking lot, set it to the regen on your computer, and you're going to want to hold it at about 2,200 RPM.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so I need a brick. I need a brick so go to lunch. Just leave the brick on there. She topped off. Yep. Come back from lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Regen done.
We had to. I remember when I was at Dishman, we had to like pull them out to the end of the very back corner of the parking lot. You put like cones around it, and then you hit with a scan tool. You could force it into a regen, and hopefully it cleaned.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hokey stuff back in the day, like the hokiest thing that I'd ever seen. And this is so funny because it was actually on like the computer that shows like all the procedures to do something.
From the top down, this is
from the top down. This is the most efficient way to clean your DPF filter. Take it off and bang it on the shop floor. Like, wow.
Is there a certain number of times, sir?
Yeah, like what am I looking for? Am I supposed to hear is something supposed to like big fall out? Like, cause you just get like dust basically coming out. Like it was the weirdest thing. Cause you just see a guy in the corner of the shop, bang, 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 bang. You're like, what is that guy? Oh, he's cleaning the DPF. Yeah. Really? that's the like. Is it like the engineers? I feel like they're like me and you. Like, how do we clean this filter? Let's just bang it on the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's like, hey, Carl, I think we're going to get too much into the technicals here. Like, so what's wrong? Well, the filter is full. What do we do in the past when a filter is full? Replace it. Too expensive. What do we do next? We blow it out with shop air. Don't have that. I don't know, drop it a couple times. Okay, new procedure. Take it off, bang it on the ground. Good? Everybody good? Okay.
John, type that up. Let's get that out to all the dealerships.
Type that up and add about 50 more bullshit words around it.
Yeah, instead of putting bang, maybe put tap or like, I don't know, some sort of technical verbiage to make it seem less violent.
Physical shock concussion cleaning service.
Yeah, shock concussion cleaning of DPFs.
Like, what is that? Oh, you're going to want to drop it.
Yeah, when you unbolt it from the truck, just let it fall.
Yeah. Don't even worry about catching it. You don't want to anyways.
It's ridiculous, yeah. So that's, kind of basics on at least what I know on DEF. Like I said, going to a truck stop I think is a better, option. Because, too, like, you don't know how long those boxes have been sitting around at an auto parts store,
Right.
Like, you could have some expired DEF. You don't want to shove that in your system.
No. I'm not a fan of shoving expired anything in my system.
Right?
Mostly just things in general.
Yeah. I might have had some expired food last Friday or last Thursday night though. Yeah, not a good. Yeah, so, never a good thing to put anything expired into anything. So, yeah. You got anything else? What are you doing?
Letting the folks know we're about to go live. That's right. If you didn't know, this is our first episode that we filmed today, so we're about to button this one up and then go live on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, that being said, folks, thanks for tuning in. Unless you got anything more.
I don't got anything more. You got anything more?
I'm ready to get this live on the show.
Oh,
showing live? Getting live. We're going live. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks. We appreciate all you
Corey,
guys.
you got anything?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Well, pretty much everything you guys listed.
Do you have a question?
No. Everything you guys listed is the same reason why I not getting a diesel truck anytime soon.
Why? I didn't talk you into a newer truck
I'm
with
too
my-
close. That thing's never going to see the freeway. Like,
Dude, I was sitting in my office and I saw a guy on a scooter ripping down Broadway. That's what you need.
if it could make it up Carnahan, yeah.
You said only a couple blocks, right?
Well, it's still halfway up.
And then get yourself a diesel. And then just drive your scooter.
I will need something soon to tow the Toyota.
Yeah.
Something bigger.
Or just build that Toyota, sell it, and the trailer, and then buy a side-by-side. Hey! Which, by the way, I want to talk about side-by-side stuff real quick, since this episode is kind of shorter, and I want to make sure it's long for people. We were up, I think, Memorial. We were riding. My buddy blew his turbo in his 17 Razor XP four-seater. First of all, those turbos on those little two-cylinder engines are so dang cute. They're just so dude, the compressor wheel is like, I'm not even kidding you, like an inch in diameter, dude. It is so small. He has we sent it in to try to get it rebuilt, and the shaft is totally bent on it. Like you could see it. Like you just spin it in your hand and you can see how bent the shaft is. But they sent this little bag full of all the little parts, and you pull out the little compressor wheel and you're just like, oh my god!
What is this, an RC car?
yeah. What is this? What is this? A turbo for ants? but shout out to DynoJet.
Mm-hmm.
Their drop-in turbo for a Razor. It's ball bearing, water cooled. It is dope. Like that was probably one of the funnest little turbo installs. Like I've done a lot of turbos, especially on like 6.7 Cummins, especially working at a dealer. I did like 3 of them in Brian's old 2011. Like
Tyler worked at a delership basically in the heyday of replacing turbos because no one had an idea how to fix them or anything.
Yeah.
So it was like the when HC351 VEs just came out, and basically it was like, does it work? Well, no.
Replace it.
Did you hit with a hammer? Yeah. Does it work now? No. Replace it.
Yeah. We were drilling holes in center sections of turbos to run a can of aerosol cleaner through the turbo. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, but shout out to DynoJet. Badass. Like badass little turbo. And that little turbo, she freaking makes a little whine that's just like, it's so pleasing to the ears.
As soon as you mentioned the ball bearing whine, it immediately made me miss the Power Max that I had on my first
it's just a
excursion.
unique. It's just such a unique sound over a journal bearing turbo.
It is.
But yeah, pretty badass, and that was a really fun install. They made it super easy to tie in, especially like for the water, the cooled side. Pretty awesome. Still small as shit, but it's so crazy when you can lift a turbo down into the section with like one hand.
Yeah.
And like
you can hold it and do a wrench at the same time.
Yeah, 100%.
When you're used to like an HC351, like, dude, you got an engine hoist?
Yeah. Seriously.
I got to bend over like a contortionist just to set this thing on there, and then wait, you want me to do a bolt now?
Yeah, absolutely not. So yeah, turbos are cool. That's the moral of that story.
Moral of the story: turbos are cool.
Yeah.
Fact.
All
right.
Def can be cool. Just make sure you take care of your truck and get it from a truck stop. That's how we're finishing this.
There you go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.